Thank you for joining us. 6 a.m. on this Thursday, getting a little closer to that weekend, everyone. I'm Eric Connors.
And I'm Nada Iranpour. Let's get a start of your forecast here. Little clouds don't bother anyone, right?
Yeah, not too bad out there.
I think they're fun. They add to, when we tend to see those like gorgeous sunrises.
Right.
Yeah, that's why.
Usually because we have some cloud cover out there.
Bouncing off the clouds.
Yeah, sunset last night was phenomenal. We've had some really comfortable days. Have also picked up on a few hundredths of an inch of rain. That was about 48 hours ago. But now we're off to a drier stretch here for Thursday and Friday. We're on the in-between of two separate low pressure systems. And in this in-between, we will warm up nicely. 70 out by the coast, 77 inland. Could be a hair warmer for tomorrow afternoon. And then we'll cool down by the time the weekend gets to us for Saturday, Sunday. Even a slight chance for rain. Coming up, we'll talk more about that chance for rain for Sunday in particular. In the meantime, here's that live look outside from La Jolla. Vanessa's got a live camera outside as well. It's looking good out there.
Yeah, it's a really pretty view right now as we make our way to and from the downtown area. This is right at the Sassafras exit. That's the camera there, and it's facing south, but this is at northbound drive as folks exit downtown, headed towards the Old Town neighborhood. This is the 5 in both directions right at Villa de la Valle. I know it looks like they're still on night vision, but I assure you the sun has risen here. This is the 78 in both directions. That's the drive headed towards a 15 connector. Westbound drive coming in from Escondido headed towards San Marcos. I'm still not tracking any crashes nor delays. Always happy to report that drivers are behaving behind the wheel. Anywhere between 65 to about 75 mile/hour speeds southbound on the 5 and the 15. Shooting in from the East County headed west, same deal. We're at steady speeds there. No major issues to get across towards the city of Coronado. And the 5 and the 805 coming in from the South Bay, you're looking at about 70 mile/hour speeds. But the speed limit is 65, folks, so slow down. 6:02 is the time. Coming up a little later, we'll take a look at what your travel times have in store. Nada.
All right, thank you very much, Vanessa. And now new this morning, the Department of Homeland Security is now one step closer to reopening. In an overnight vote-a-rama, as it's called, the Senate narrowly adopted a Republican blueprint to fund DHS. This was a 50-48 vote. Did not include Democrat demands for ICE reforms. It now heads back to the House of Representatives. DHS has been operating without funding since mid-February, causing travel trouble at airport security lines around the country. ICE agents can continue to wear masks and will not have to show visible ID after a state law was blocked.
The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals issued the ruling, which is now being reviewed by the state's attorney general. News 8's Tori Apodaca live downtown to explain what happens next year. Tori?
Yeah, many California leaders saying that the fight is not over yet, but right now, because that ruling is under review, California cannot require those federal agents to wear IDs. The Trump administration argued that the law would threaten the safety of those federal agents who are already facing harassment, and that it goes against the Constitution because the state is trying to regulate the federal government. This was just one of the laws California brought forward last fall after the immigration enforcement ramped up back in June. The other law banning federal agents from wearing masks. The Trump administration sued California in November over both of these laws. Then a federal judge blocked the mask ban law in February, and a lower court struck it down too. But the judges said that they would be more open to a law that banned masks for all law enforcement officers, not just federal ones. A new California bill attempts to revive the mask restrictions by also applying them to state troopers. California lawyers who support these laws say people are more likely to attack officers in self-defense if there's no visible ID on them, confirming that they are law enforcement. And California Attorney General Rob Bonta's office is reviewing this ruling, and Governor Gavin Newsom's press office did post on X about this ruling, saying that it will continue to fight the federal government for this and demand accountability. For now, reporting live in downtown San Diego, Tori Apodaca, News 8.
Well, this just in here, state-licensed medical marijuana was just reclassified as a less dangerous drug. It was a Schedule I drug, the same category as heroin, and now it's Schedule III, which is less strictly regulated. However, this does not legalize marijuana for medical or recreational use under federal law. Well, a trip this summer may cost you considerably more.
That's because one major airline is raising its fares this summer. News 8's Chris Groh working for your wallet. with reasons why they're hiking up those prices, Chris, as people are searching. Oh, I'm sure they're noticing.
I'm looking for a flight to Omaha in June, and it's insane. It's like what a flight to Hawaii used to
Wow.
cost.
We've got plans to go back to Florida this summer.
Yeah.
We've got just the flight there on points,
Yeah.
and we're just like, I don't have a flight back just
know,
yet.
right?
Now, don't worry, we will be coming back here to San Diego, but people are looking at this. Prices are taking off, and they're just not landing, right? And so what we have to find out is the reason why. Well, it's the reason for a lot of price increases across the country and really across the world, the conflict in the Middle East. Now, on an earnings call, United specifically, that's who we're talking about today. Their CEO said that the company may need to raise ticket prices 15 to 20% to offset fuel costs. They've already implemented 5 fare increases and have increased baggage fees as a result of rising fuel costs since Operation Epic Fury began. Now, we do know that their shares are down about 6% at one point during trading yesterday. CEO Scott Kirby did say on this shares call that demand has not gone down. However, he did say this could test consumers. Now, on the international stage, German airline Lufthansa said, just announced, I should say, that they will cut summer flights by 20,000 due to fuel prices. Eric?
Meantime, sources telling CBS News the Trump administration is in advanced discussions to possibly salvage Spirit Airlines with a bailout worth up to $500 million. Now, this $500 million deal would seek to stave off the airline's liquidation and keep its planes flying. In return, the federal government would take a stake in the airline, which has not made a profit since 2019.
All right, now let's talk about your forecast here as those skies. Chris
It's always
is
a
almost
working
there.
set. Chris Rowe can always make a guest appearance in the forecast if he wants.
Ships passing through the morning.
Right, right.
We're all just in awe of
Let
what
me
this
look
camera
at
is
it.
showing
It's so
behind
pretty.
us. Got a fair amount of cloud cover out there to kick off our Thursday. Clouds are going to be breaking apart rather quickly, and we should be transitioning to sunshine too rather quickly. So that's going to be taking place, as you can already see here from the La Jolla camera. Expecting temperatures to peak in the 70s this afternoon. Could get all the way up to 77 on average toward our inland valleys into the afternoon. Will cool only slightly today and tomorrow are, again, the standout warmest days of the next 7. And then our next low pressure system slides in, helps to give us cooler temperatures for Saturday and Sunday, and a chance for rain in particular Saturday into Sunday. By early next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're warming up again, seeing those skies clear out. So in terms of our rain chances, the only days where I'd say I recommend you keep an eye on are the days where that chance for rain is above 10 or 20%, and that's exclusively Saturday and Sunday. The reason why Saturday is still a little high right now is because it seems like some of the stormy weather could start up late Saturday and then peak on Sunday. That means that if you have plans during the day on Saturday and during the day on Sunday, it's doubtful you'll see much. Instead, it's more so if you have plans late Saturday night going into early Sunday, where you could see some mist, some drizzle, and dare we say, 1/10 of an inch of rain. I know we've been counting mainly in the hundreds, so that is a little bit of a climb from where we've been. Here are the last 2 weeks of afternoon highs. We've been really right around average. I mean, there's been only a handful of days where we've been below average or at average. Otherwise, we've been a degree or two warmer than average. So while we've been enjoying 60s and 70s in San Diego, other parts of the country are working through 80s right now. We got Phoenix at 83 for this afternoon. Chicago's going for 80, Washington, D.C. 82, Atlanta 81, Jackson 83. You can see that warmer stretch toward the eastern half of the country, whereas we on the western half are still working with some of those cooler, more early spring temperatures. I'll send things over to Vanessa, 6:09 here on the clock. At least a smooth view there on the 163.
Yes, this is the 163 just south of the 8 freeway, and you could actually count the number of cars traveling by. That's how quiet it is on that drive just south of Mission Valley as you make your way to and from maybe the Balboa Park or Hillcrest area. Things are starting to pick up, but still not too bad. Coming in from Via de la Valle, this is that drive right side of your screen towards Sorrento Valley, and the left side is a northbound drive on the 5. All right, and this is a 78 in both directions. It looks like we have a stalled semi headed westbound, passing the 15, headed towards that Nordahl exit. It's not blocking any lanes, but you can obviously see it there on the left side of your screen. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at your speeds because we are still looking nice this morning. About 70 to 72 miles per hour or so coming in from the North County. Here's what it looks like coming out of the East County, about 65 to 75 mile per hour speeds, no major issues there. And then out of the South Bay, 57 mile per hour speeds if you're traveling across the Coronado Bridge. Meanwhile, here's what it looks like coming in from the 5 and the 805, about 65 to 70 mile per hour speeds at last check. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at your border wait times and see what we're working with this morning. Not too bad, about an hour 50, so close to 2 hours to get you across from San Ysidro's port of entry. I would say opt for Otay Mesa as an alternate entrance, but that's also seeing its fair share of slowing, tracking about an hour and a half coming across from there.